Hello, good evening. Very warm welcome to the session. Today's session has to be warm because it's raining in most parts of Pakistan. I'm not sure about Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, but over here, winters are in full swing, and it's been raining since yesterday. So, enjoying the weather as we call it in South Asia. So, today's session, as you all know, is the second session of Power BI. We have been noticing comments on discussions on the WhatsApp groups, and it seems that I mean the conclusion is that you people are facing a very difficult time in keeping up with the pace on sessions every day. So if the situation is such that there is no possibility or no way because of your official workload also or your classes, if it is becoming impossible or you're not being able to pay full attention or practice enough, so this situation is not helping us. So as a result, what Khurram, myself, Feroz, what we have discussed and agreed is that we are going to switch back to 2 days in a week model. So two moderated sessions and one unmoderated session. Although we will remain within these combined groups. So what I mean to say is that during this week we've had a session on Monday, we've had a session on Tuesday, and a session today, which means two more sessions for Power BI are left after today's, which are now going to be held on next Monday and then on Wednesday. So you will have sufficient time in between. Number one, you will revert back to your unmoderated sessions also. So on Friday and Saturday, you're going to have your unmoderated sessions as usual. And then back on Monday next week, you're going to have a moderated session. Tuesday is going to be no session, and Wednesday is once again going to be another moderated session, after which you will get task or work to perform for your unmoderated sessions on Friday and Saturday. So just making this announcement, I hope all of you will now be at ease, with this decision. What do you think about this decision? Do let us know. Will this give you sufficient time to practice the concepts that are being delivered, to rehearse, to go through the recordings again, and to get a chance to apply your knowledge at the same time as well. So yes, Zara, the groups will remain merged. The sessions are going to take place, moderated sessions are going to take place on Mondays and Wednesdays. The unmoderated sessions are going to take place as usual on Fridays for members and on Saturdays for non-members. Although I think that it'll become a bit difficult if I circulate the links for unmoderated sessions as well to all of you, and then you join in one group. So for the unmoderated sessions, we can remain as part of our groups of members and groups of future members. But for the moderated sessions, we are reverting to sessions on alternate days, which are now going to be held on Monday and Wednesday. The timing are going to remain 6 to 8 because this is the time slot that we have earmarked for sessions for members. Afterwards, there may be sessions that the education team has to hold. So 8:30 p.m. their sessions start 8:30 till late night. So we can't, step into their time zone. If it is about namaz break in Karachi, I would suggest that people in Karachi could take a quick namaz break during the session and come back and resume. Okay, there's not going to be, unfortunately, an announced break for prayers during these sessions. Now, that's what the decision is. So once again, I'll repeat. For Power BI, a session was held on Tuesday. A session will be held today. The next two sessions are going to be held on, excuse me, on Monday and Wednesday, same time. Monday and Wednesday, same time. In between, there are going to be unmoderated sessions, which are going to be held on Friday and Saturday as usual. So this weekend, yes, Friday and Saturday, and the next weekend also on Friday and Saturday, there are going to be unmoderated sessions for which you will be given some tasks. You will be able to watch recordings and you will be able to do all your work that has been assigned to you. So with that announcement, I'm looking for feedback during the session. So please communicate this to everyone. Feroz is going to, excuse me, Feroz is going to make this announcement in the WhatsApp groups as well. And even during the session, because there are people from outside the Six Sigils program as well. So even after the session, um, Feroz is going to make these announcements. So over to you, Khurram.
Okay, thank you very much, Harun. Okay, okay, based on the feedback that we had and the discussion with Harun, uh, I have decided that I will take a review of what we did and the concept that we have learned yesterday. We will emphasize again, and then we will do something new DAX function, right, to uh, make it more understandable for you, right? So that's uh, the plan. Okay, so uh, first of all, just Feroz has uploaded one file, right? That is the A report. You should download this file and you should work along with me, right? So today's session, what I will do is I will take I will use only one file. Yesterday I have used many files, right? Four files, and then we have added a new table. So today I will be using only one, and that is the file. You should download it and you should work with me, right? So because after every task, I will uh, when I complete that task, then I will give you a minute that you have to apply the task with me. You have to create a Mayer with me, right? So let's begin. Uh, so I hope you have downloaded this file. So what we need to do now, we need to just let me first minimize this. Okay. Now I need to get the data. This is the Excel workbook, right? And this is the AR status report. This is the file that today we are working with. So what I'm doing, I'm establishing a connection with this file with the Power BI, right? I click it, right, and I have opened it. Okay, now the connection is established. Now it will take a minute or two, right? Please wait while it is been establishing. Please wait. Okay. So yesterday we skipped one thing, and that is how to transform. Now, what the transform means. Okay, let's see. We have these particular Excel file. We have two sheets. So one is the aging, and other is the lookup. So if you click aging, that is the report that today we are working. This preview give us a fair idea that what this table looks like. If you look at that, it's it seems that there is a problem with that table. So we have the invoice number and we have the null value. This is the column 2, right? And there is a company here. So there is some issue with this. So should be in place of column 2, right? So we need to fix this thing as well, right? So it means that we need to transform the data. So in a of loading, we can see that what the table is look like, and if we found something unusual that does not fit in the Power BI formats and stuff, then we have this which is called the transform data. So if I click transform data, it will take me to the another editor which is known as the Power Query editor, right? So here in the Power Query editor, I will do a little bit of trick and I will try to elaborate few, right? But I will not go into the details of the Power Query. But in a way, you can see that using Power Query is very, very easy and simple. Now, we have observed in the preview while loading that we have the null value here and we have the company, which is the column label, and it should be in the place of column 2. So what is required? We need to first uh, rename column 2, then we need to delete this row, right? So these are the two steps that we are doing. And if you look at here, these are the steps which are being followed. So we have connecting the source, we have navigated the source, we have promoted the headers, so headers are promoted, right? And now we are doing something with this. So next step would be G. So what we can do, we can just go to the column 2, right? If your pointer and double click it, right, it will give you the space where you can change the name of the column label. So it is, for example, company. So we have the company. Right now we have done the first part. Now we have to delete this row. So select any of this, and then what we need to do, we need to use one of the features that is available over here. So if you see, we have reduced rows, right? We have managed columns, we have removed columns. You know, there are many things that you can do. If you select one of these things, right click, so we have the number filter, the drill down, right? If you want to look for this, right? If you want to click over here. So there are many things that we can do right over here. But for the thing that we need to do is very simple. So just take reduce, right? And we have remove rows. We have to remove rows, but a single row. If you click this thing, you see we have removed top rows, remove bottom rows, remove alternate rows. So there are a bundle of options available with the removal of row. So we need to remove the top row, which is this one, but it will give you that how many number of rows we can delete or should be deleted. So if I click remove top row, right, it will give me specify how many rows to remove from the top. So number of rows, if I type 4, it will delete 4. Since we only need to delete 1, so just delete 1. So click 1. So number of rows is 1 from the top. It should be deleted. Click OK. Now you see this is deleted. Now similarly, in the Power Query editor of the applied step pane, you can see we have actually applied 2 steps, right? Rename the columns, we did that. This is the rename of the column. This is the remove top row. Uh, Somewhere I can, for example, somehow this is not required, or I did this thing erroneously, right? So I can click this, right? I can delete this again, and you will see the steps are gone, and we are back to where we were, right? So again, just I'm repeating these steps. If this is the company, and then rename columns, we have renamed the columns, we have remove and remove the top row and 1, and click OK. So all is set. Now after something, right, that is called cleaning the database, right? Cleaning, a cleansing. The Power Query is used for cleansing. So maybe we can change the type as well. This is the invoice state, right? I can change the type of this, right? Transform. If I click this one, sorry, home. So there are many things that we can do. We have the data type. If you look at here, data type, we can change it to decimal, into date format, and other stuff like this, right? If I have this, you can change it with the whole number, the date. There are many things, options that you can do. But once you when you refresh this file, when you refresh this data set, uh, all these steps will be repeated again, right? So we don't have to redo these again and again. Once these are done, uh, we see that the data is in the required form, and then we can close and apply, right? When I close it, it means that whatever I have done will be discarded. If I use apply, whatever step I have done, it's been applied, and the Power Query editor will remain open. But if I select close and apply, so whatever steps that I have applied will be applied, and the Power Query editor will be closed. So this is the process of using the Power Query while loading, right? And for example, after loading, we see that there might be some issue. Then what you can do, you can always select the file, the table, the aging, right click it, and you have the edit query. If you click this edit query, right, it will go back to query editor, right? So after applying, after loading, once the data set is completed, it is loaded, and still you want to do something on the data set, right? You can always edit the query, and after doing that, you can close and apply, and query will be the Power Query editor will be closed, and we are back to the Power Query interface. Sorry, the Power BI interface. Okay, fine. So that is the intro of the Power Query. In Monday or maybe the next week session, we will do something Power Query. But today, we will be using the yesterday, the concept that we have learned yesterday, right? And we will be developing Myers in a different data set. So there is only file here today. We will create one calculated table, but that is uh, later today. So if you look at this data, right, again, we have, this is the data. It shows that there are certain invoice numbers, right? And we have the company from uh, company names, and there is an invoice date, right? And there is an AR due date. So the company has to pay something to our company, right? And the due date is this, and the account receivable amount due is this much, and so these are few of the columns: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, total there are 6 columns, and in 6 columns, this is the information we have. Now, what we have to do today, we have today we will be, or say our let's set the of today. We need to mm, develop a report or a dashboard so that we can analyze the data available in this uh, data set. Maybe we want to see that how many there who are paid, how many which are unpaid, right? Maybe how many are overdue and stuff like this, right? Uh, 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 how many total invoices are there, and how many among those are paid and unpaid. So these are the things that we want to bring in our analysis, and let's see how Power BI can help us in doing so. So go back to here, the uh, canvas, and now we will be looking at we can do that. So first thing first, we need to count the total number of invoices in this file. So uh, we can develop a Meyer, right? Yesterday we have discussed the concept of calculated column and calculated table. So today we will be doing this stuff again, but in a different way. The concept, the application of the concept is the same, but the output that we are trying to get is different. So the one thing that we need to do, we need to mm, insert a table for the Meyer table. So this is the Meyer table. I'm loading it, and this is the table where I want all my Meyers that I will be developing for this report. It should be right here. It is convenient for me to locate all the Meyers, right? It is easy for me to identify, and if there is a need for modification in the Meyers, I can do that. In average, on an the data model of an average Power BI report contains almost 10 to 15 tables, right? If you have 10 to 15 tables, and we can store Meyers in various tables, so it will be difficult for us to identify or locate which Meyer is table. So it is better, it is recommended, and it is one of the best practices for the Meyers that whenever you want to write Meyers, so you should have a separate table for that. In majority of the cases, we may multiple Meyer tables, right? Maybe if I'm the uh, uh, one dimensions, for example, I will be using the invoice number. Maybe the second will be on the account receivable. Maybe there was something else. So we can have as many tables for my required. So this is the Meyer table. The first thing is that I want to calculate the total number of invoices, and this is very simple. Either you can click in the new Meyers or clicking the M table and right click and the new Meyers. So this is the first Meyer of the day. So we saying the count of, yeah, let it be invoice count, ENV count. So invoice count is how we can, there is a DEX function known as count. Without we have count. So uh, there are many instances of the count. We have the count, we have count A, count X, count black, count rows, count text. Majority of the count variants are the same as we have learned, or you might have learned in the Excel, right? Only the syntax is different, but the remaining the usage, the function that it has is the same. So count, we want to count about the which thing? The invoice number. So invoice number, so count, aging is the table, and then I have the invoice number, which is this one. Select this one and click OK, and we have this invoice count number. So this is our first measure of the day. You can see we have a measure table in which we have this invoice table, invoice count as our first measure. Now I want to see that how many total invoice are. I can drag this, select invoice count, and drag it to the canvas. So this is the canvas. I've dragged it. So you see, this is the visualization, right, of this, which is the custard column chart. I don't want this visualization. Rather, I want to see the number. The number is, you can get it from the card. So card is another visualization. If you click card, right, so we have 1057 total number of invoices in this particular data set. Now we want to see that how many of these are paid and how many these are unpaid, right? So how we can do that? Again, we have to write measures. If you look at the data, we have one column which is the paid status. Status, if it is no, it means that it hasn't been paid, right? If it is yes, it means it has been paid, right? So we have received the payments. So go back here, and now we want to see that in this particular invoices, how many are paid and how many are okay. For this, we can use a measure, right? Such as, right, okay. So what we want to see that the paid invoices, right? Paid invoices. We want to calculate the paid invoices. Okay. So one option is that we can count the paid, right? Paid, how many paid are there? What I mean is, if I let me just ignore it for the time being, right, and go back here, go back to the data. So we have this paid status, right? So what can I do? I have to calculate the total number of no and total number of yes, right? That condition is yes, right? Count condition is no. The total of paid invoices means that the paid status value is equal to yes, right? In Power BI, there is one DEX expression, and it is called a calculate, right? So what I will be doing now, remember, this is one of the mostly used function, DEX function. It is some like count if, sum if sort of a function. So based on certain criteria, you want to add something. Based on certain criteria, you want to mm, mm, sum something, right? So we cannot calculate the total number of invoices which are not paid based on simple sum or count. But what is required, we have to have a function, DAX function, which is known as calculate. So kindly focus on this function, because it is the function that we will be using for the rest of the session as well. And whosoever is doing reporting or visualization will also be using this function, right? So this is the backbone of the reporting. So uh, you should understand what is this function. So I'm emphasizing it more and more because it is very important function, and we will be using this function throughout, right? So in today's session, remaining part of the and the next two session, I will be using this calculate function in variety of ways. So let's see uh, how we can do this. So M table new my year. So this is the paid invoices. So paid invoice. So first thing is calculate. This is the function, calculate function. Now in the calculate function, what we have to do? So we have total number of invoices is 1057, which we already calculated, which is ENV count, right? So what we can do, click this one, and we have the invoice count. So we want to see that how many of this total, which is invoice count, and the value of invoice count is 1057. How many of these are paid, right? So this is the first part. This is the first part. So calculate expression. This is already an expression. So expression are in the form of a Meyer, right? So invoice count, we have already calculated invoice count, which is invoice count is equal to count uh, invoice number. So this is already is an expression. So this expression is in the form of a Meyer. So remember this point. So invoice count, we have find out that uh, how many are paid. So we need to set the condition now. So we have the calculate function, then the expression or the Meyer, and then the condition. The condition is paid status is paid status is paid status is what? Yes. So we are asking paid invoices. So this says yes, right? So this is yes. So that's it. So paid invoices is equal to, this is the name of the buyer, and the result of this DAX function will be stored in paid invoice. So what we are calculating, we are calculating from this buyer the number of invoices which are paid. So it is done. Click OK. Click this part, and you can see we have the paid invoice. Now let's put it and drag it over. So we have, again, this is the thing, and we have put it in the cards. So there are 497. So it means out of 1057, 497 are paid invoices. So there are still 500 and plus invoices which are not paid. Let's see how we can calculate the unpaid invoices. Okay, so we have the calculate function once again, or rather we have calculated. I have calculated the paid invoices. Now I am giving you the time. Take a minute and calculate, write, develop a year for unpaid invoices. And in the meantime, if the participant has any question, they may ask. Feroz, if they have any question, they can ask. Yeah, Feroz, are you there?
Let me get back. Feroz is on his way back home. So so the questions are, Waqas Khan is asking, okay, sorry, Saida Naqvi is asking, why did we write aging? Why
Okay,
did we
aging.
write aging?
Okay, aging. Okay, maybe later today we want to see the number of uh, invoices which are overdue, maybe by 10 days, maybe by 15 days, maybe by 30 days. So maybe that is the concept. That is why this the value, the name of the file is known as aging, or this a worksheet. But that may be the case. So it is. It may be XYZ. Uh, the worksheet is. It is only the worksheet name. That's it. So it can be
Okay,
XYZ.
Ghulam Farid is asking, please explain how you put expression in formula.
Uh, okay, let me do this for you. The unpaid invoices, right? This is invoice count, right? We have already seen that this is the we have used the DEX function count, and this become an it will generate any result. Expression is generate your, it produces an output, and that is a value, and that value is being assigned to invoice count, right? So that is the case here. In this, what we have done, we have just replacing that value here. I can still do this thing. I can go to the count. This is the count, right? And what I want the invoice date, sorry, invoice number. So this is the invoice number, and this is closed. Mm. Now look at here. So calc count. This is the same thing, and I need to put this one. So actually, this is the expression which is equal to this invoice count, right? So I rewrite this thing. So instead of writing this thing, I can use this. So that, so either you can do this, right, or you can using the name of the mayyit. So both are same, right? If click OK, and you see we have the same answer, right? Is that clear?
Okay, let's find out. The next question is from Zara Aziz. She's saying how it's different from Excel functions.
How it is different from Excel function. Okay, just give us say 30-40 more minutes, and you will realize by yourself that so
Okay.
it's the question is a bit early.
All right. Okay, Zara Aziz has asked another question saying, can we consider expression means formula?
Yes, if you are talking about Excel language, yes, it may.
Okay.
So
Anas has once again asked, how do you write the condition? The same question as Ghulam Farid. So Ghulam Farid and Anas, if you can confirm if you've got your answer. Abdul Qayyum Sheikh is saying, how many rows and columns will Power BI accept? As in Microsoft Excel, 1 million is the limit.
in Power BI, there is no limit, as many as you can. But the thing is that as the data comes in, the data set becomes heavy. So there are many strategies to deal with that data. So that is the question, task for the later or the advanced users. So you can have as many data as you can, but if the data sizes is getting harder and bigger and bigger, the refreshing uh, uh, the refreshing of our data set will become slower. The processing of the calculation become slower. So there are certain strategies then we take into account uh, just to reduce the size of the data by incremental refreshing summary. The intermediate data set, right? So there are many other things, but there is no limit for the data set. Yes, please.
Okay, Irfan Ali is asking, can we export reports in Excel format from Power BI?
Again, early, just take say wait for say 20-30 minutes, and you will have the answer. So
Muhammad Sajid Yahya is saying, why is it necessary to create M table?
okay, M table is any table, right? It is an table for specifically for the mayors. I told you I can have these mayors in this table or in any other table, right? But for the sake of convenience, I know that all of these, if you look at this, you may call it a table, I know that are the column names, right? So I can I can write a mayor in this column. But in a on an average, right, there are 10, 15 tables with so many different rows, 40, 50 rows. It is difficult developer to locate where the table may be. He may forgot, right? So it is better, it is the best practice to have another table. So I'm using this, one of the best practices, to have a separate table for Mayar. This will help me that all my Mayars, I don't need to look around the other tables, right? So that is the reason to have a separate table. Any
And the final question is from Anas Khan. He's saying, actually, I'm not sure how you put the second row in the formula bar. If you could explain that. So, for example,
okay,
you got row number one, paid invoice, now
okay,
row
okay,
number two is agent.
fine. Thank you very much, Arun. And Ans as well. I forgot to tell you. It's very easy and very simple. So, for example, uh, let me write another. Then I will let you know how I do this. So, this is the paid invoices. I want to create a measure for unpaid invoices, right? And then I will uh, tell you that what is the method of doing this stuff. This is unpaid invoice, right? So this is unpaid invoices. I calculate, and I hope that understood. I can write this one, or I can write the count expression. So invoice count, in the invoice count. Now here I want that my condition so will be on the next line. It is alt enter. So you have here and you want to move to the next line, alt. I discussed it in the Excel, right? So alt enter is a key combination that moves to the next line. And again, it is the best practice that if the expression or the formula is long, have multiple conditions, you should split it into multiple lines. So I maybe I can do this like so. unpaid invoice is equal to, this is the line, the calculate, I want to calculate something based on this condition, and the condition is that fee status, right, the this is equal to, the paid status is equal to no, right? And since this is the opening process of the calculate, this is the closing bracket of mm, this calculate, and click OK. So I hope now you can or you have learned the technique of how splitting to the next line, right? So click OK, and that's it. We have now 3 Mayers, right? One Mayer is in white count, which is this one, right? Let me write. Okay, so in the invoice count is this much, paid is this much, and unpaid is this much, which is the card, and we have 560. So 560 is this much, right? Okay, now we can develop a table, and then we look into that how many companies have paid invoices and the unpaid invoices. So we are
Sorry,
again
Khurram, sorry, a few other questions, if you can spare a couple of more minutes.
okay, okay.
Just wanted people to be very, very clear at this stage because we're now moving on. So Abdul Qayyum Sheikh is saying currently the result of expression will show in the measure tool. My question is the same. Will this appear in table tools as well?
No, it won't. It won't.
Okay, can you explain
This
that?
is okay. Just assume it as a placeholder, right? For table. It has nothing to do with the data model, right? It has nothing to do with anything else. The sole purpose of this table just to have the place where we have all the measures. That's it. That's the objective of this table, right?
Okay, okay. Mohammed Riafat is saying how to change the data in transform using Power BI query after applying multiple filters.
Okay, what? Okay, for example, look at here. I'm just an idea. The data is loaded, right? Already loaded. I can do this process. I can do this process, right? Uh, while loading in the transform. So, for example, I want to look into the data of only AA company. Click OK, right? So what actually I did, I applied a filter uh, and only select BB and AA, right? So filtered are rows. I can apply another filters. For example, I want to have a filter right over here, right? And I, 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 I just want no. So if I click OK, right? Now, what happens when I close and apply, right? Uh, this will become the part of the data set, right? Uh, uh, Paid status yes value will be discarded. We will only have the data of the company in A and B. So multiple filters are applied right over here. This becomes your data source, but we don't have any information other than company A and B and paid status, which is un. So for a proper analysis, we should have all the data, right? So that may be the reason we use we don't use it. Okay, but at times your question is relevant in a sense that at times when your data become huge, we need to filter a sort of data. We need to have a proper strategy that what sort of data is to be filtered. For example, we have say 20 years of data, right? Now the relevance of the data, what is the significance part of the data set? Maybe 5 years, the last 5 years relevant. So we can filter out data and we will take only the 5 years data on this data set and discarded the remaining one. So that data, the 20 years data is there in other database. But in our database, in our data set of the Power BI, we only have the data which is of 5 years, right? So this become your data set is become smaller and more efficient. So you can apply filters and other stuff on Power Query and then close and load it. Whatever you have done will become the part of the data set, and from that data set we can do stuff like create budget and analyzing the data. I hope that answers.
Yes, quite an elaborate answer. Ghulam Farid is still not sure about how you would bringing INV count to the next line. So, what did you press? Alt Enter or what?
alt alt enter, just like in Excel, just
Just like
like
in
in
Excel,
Excel.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
just like in
Okay.
Excel, alt enter. So
Okay,
I'm
Mohammed Riafat is asking how to change the data and transform using Power BI query after applying. But that, I'm sorry, we've answered that. Um, Makbul Ahmed was saying, can we export data file into Excel format from Power BI?
I told you, you just need to wait.
Wait. Okay.
Uh,
Ghulam Farid is saying, can you allow me to speak? All right, Ghulam Farid, I'm going to unmute you. He's saying this is not his question. So give me a second. Let me unmute Ghulam Farid so that we can hear him out. And I promise that'll be the last question. Ghulam Farid, unmute yourself, please.
Assalamualaikum and good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is fine. And very quickly, I want to ask Khurram sir, when he's writing the calculate count, we have two options. We can write down the full formula like count, aging, and there is another option like we already have the Meyer paid in and invoice count. So he is using this Meyer. What he is pressing to use this Meyer? Actually, I'm unable to getting. I already done with the formula like count and aging, but I'm unable to get this. How is getting the expression of Meyer in the formula?
okay, there is one thing that I guess is disturbing, right? So it be, first of all, I need to change the name of this agent. So this is a bit confusing, right? So maybe let it be. What I'm doing now, I'm trying to rename the table, right? So instead of aging, what I'm doing, I'm rename uh, AR data, right? So first of all, I'm doing this stuff. So AR data. So AR data becomes account receivable data, right? So that is the first part. So that's make it confusing. Okay, what I'm trying to do is uh, Bayer and the expression. Sometime people do confuse, right? And there is no harm in confusing. And if you are confused, then there is an opportunity to learn, right? So there is a difference. Okay, if you look at this particular table, and we have the invoice count, right? What actually is doing? Let me. Okay. Okay, what actually this thing is doing? This is now look at this. The AR data now. Aging is now changed. We have the AR data. In the AR, one column which is the invoice number. Now count function will count all the values in this particular column, right? So that is the only thing that this function is doing, count invoice. So you can consider an expression itself, right? We have the first row, we have the second row. What we are doing, we are summing up the number of rows which are filled with invoice number. So it is in itself is a expression, right? So row number 1 plus row number 2 plus row number 3. So it is again. So Power BI or Excel actually use this count function just to get it calculated, right? So this is one thing. So instead of now I'm using the same stuff. Either I can use the name of the expression, the name of the buyer, which is equal to this, which is again an expression, right? Or I can use this expression in the calculate function. So I have two options which represent the same thing. So actually this is the expression, and the output of or the result of this will be assigned to this, right? It is nothing but the meaning is the same, right? So in the calculate function, this is the function. Now here we have, right, calculate this. If you look at this one, count, this is an expression now, right? But instead of this, because this expression is equal to this, which is equal to what is it, invoice count, right? So there is no harm in either using this or using this thing, which is what count. Let me count what we want. What count we want? We count the invoice number, right? So that is actually either you can use expression within the calculate function, or you can use the Maya. I hope that answer. Okay, should I move to the next?
Yes, I think let's continue.
Okay, fine. Okay, let's. We have 3 Mayas now. Let's very quickly do some bit of analysis. So let me have one table. For example, I want to insert a table here, and I want to have the companies, right? So I want to have some companies. So in the company, I have the company. So we have these many companies. For example, we have AAA. So AAA, almost 10 companies I have, right? So I want to see that how many total invoices per company. So just go to invoice count, drag it to here, and you will see that you have this much of, okay, company AAA 103, company BBB we have 92, and similarly for the rest. So these are the invoice count. Now we want to see that how many invoices are paid. So what you can do, this is the values part here in the visualization section. So paid invoice, so just drag it to here, paid invoice, and you see what we have. Company AAA, the invoice count is 103, and there are paid invoices which are 54. So paid is 54, and how many unpaid? This is unpaid. Okay. So there are 49 unpaid invoices, right? There are 43 unpaid invoices for so this is the huge amount, right? But we want to have a look that how many maybe just the start of the month, the start of the month, and we want to see that how many among 49 invoices are actually within certain time frame, right? Maybe we have given a due date, which is say 2 months from now, maybe 10 days from now. So although these are unpaid, but there are certain invoices which are long overdue. So let's see how we can calculate all of these. So this is the thing that we will be doing today. We have to develop one logic, and we have to have an important DEX function. So one is the calculate function. So this is one of the important function. You should learn, you should apply, right? And this is the second function, which is a date diff function. So I have to apply this function in the AR data, right? And I have two dates. One is the invoice date and other is the AR due date. But I want to have a look that is there any invoice which are overdue in certain period of time, maybe or any overdue by 1 day or 2 day or by 3 day, right? So let's see how we can do this. So first of all, we need to create a calculated column with the help of a date diff. So I want to take a difference between the due date and the today date, right? So let's see how we can do that. We have to have a new column, right? And I want to calculate the number of days, right? So we have this column and days overdue. Days overdue is uh, the name of the column. Now this is calculated column. Remember, we did it yesterday as well. So this is a calculated column, and we want to calculate the number of days between 2 days, which is AR due date and the today's date. So due date may be someday in the future, right? So let it be, we have date diff. It is very versatile function, date diff. It is present in Excel as well, but it is not documented. But this is the function that you may use here. Date diff, it says date diff date 1 comma date 2, and we have the interval in terms of days, years, in terms of months, even in terms of minutes, in terms of second as well. We will see in a minute. So date 1 is what? Date 1 is the AR due date, which is AR due date, which is AR due date. So AR due date is this much, comma, and we have the second date, which is today. Today is the function. This is the today, right? And then the come interval. Intervals. Now look at how many options do we have. So we want to have the date difference in terms of days, in terms of hour, minute, month, quarter, second, week, and year, right? So there are many mayas that you can have, right? So but we want here day. So this is the day. Click enter and click have the column with the days overdue and the value fill in with these. So we have 628 days, right? So it's too much time. Similarly, right? So this is we have. Now go back to this. We have the value here of the days overdue. We want to look at into some different measures. We want to see that how many among unpaid are overdue by say 15 days, how many are beyond 15 days, right, up to say 60 days, and how many are above 60 days. So that we want to create measures for. Let me, okay. Now, measures for creating unpaid, unpaid, right? For numbers of overdue. Let's see how we can do that. Meyer table, we have new Meyers. Say, I want to see that how many invoices which are unpaid and are overdue by 1 day and 15 days. So I'm setting a range, right? So overdue by 1 day and less than by 15 days. So I want to look at how many invoices are called in this case. So we have let it overdue. OD stands for overdue by 1 and 15 days. Maybe OD by 1 and 15, or maybe 1/15. I think uh, will so again the function calculate. The calculate is a very versatile function, and we should practice it. We should learn it, how to use it, right? So you will be using this function again and again. So calculate function. Now this time, what we want to calculate? Calculate unpaid, right? Invoices. So, and again, it is equivalent to some sort of expression as well. So this is already calculated. So it is further drilling it down that how many unpaid invoices are time frame. So I want to have this thing which is unpaid, right? And now I want to set the time frame. The time frame is, and let it be the next line. Alt Enter next line. Now I want to calculate unpaid invoice on conditions, and condition is that due date, uh, this is AR due date, is this greater than or equal to 1, right? That is the first. AR date is greater than or equal to, not the AR date, it is the days overdue. Days overdue, because we have days overdue, because we have just calculated the days overdue with the help of date function. So AR data, the name of the table, this is the column, it is greater than or equal to 1, right? So this is the first parameter, the lowest value of the range. And then Alt End, I want to have the days. This is the second condition that I'm putting in. Let me Alt Enter. It is less than, but now greater than or equal to, say, 15. And that's it. So I want to calculate the unpaid invoice based on these two criteria, these two conditions. If these two conditions both are true, whatever the result will be assigned to OD by 1 day. So let it be, let me, okay, this is, now we have this working on it, and we have now OD by 1/5. So let me do this, and we should have how many, let it be, I'm putting it. So we can see that OD by 115, out of 49, we have 2 invoices for company AAA which are overdue by 1 and 15. So it means there are many other um, invoices which are overdue by more than 15. So let's take another look. We have this. So now the rest of the task become easy. So just hang on. This is Control C. You can copy it. Control Control select all. Control C. and then click View My Year. Click View My Year, and we have the place, the Control V, just modifying it. Now this is maybe you can call it a 16, say to say 45. 16 to 45. How many are in between 16 and 45? So this will be 16, because in the first space we have 15, we have 16 here, greater than or equal to 16, and we have 45 here. So here is a 45, and we have the measures in between 16 and 45, and we have, let's see how many values we have here as, so again we have 5 invoices which are this much. Let me take one more very quickly. We have the select all of these, Control A, Control C, and then we have the new Click My Year, and Control V, and we just change it to okay, we have to change it. This is maybe 46 to maybe or maybe 60. Let it be 90. So we have 46, and this is 90. This is 90, and I'm selecting it, Control C, putting it, and now greater than 90. The last one is greater. Okay. So I'm giving it a new, one more new. Okay, Control V. Now greater than 90 by more than 90. More than 90 days. And it is just delete this because I don't need any more. There is only greater than 90. So let it be, we have this, and okay, so there is a problem. Oh yes, we have the comma. We have the comma, and that's it. Okay, fine. So this is, we have 1645, then we have this value, this value. So that is the status of this data set, that there are how many in company A. These are the total invoices count. These are 54. This is unpaid 49, and 2 this much, 5 this much, 2 this much, and we have 30 days which are overdue by 30. Okay, so this is the summary of the data we have that we have extracted from this data set. Any question now for next few minutes? If you have, please. Okay, if there is any question.
Saurabh, can you pick up the questions yourself now?
Let me have the question. We have the question here. There is a problem with this questions. Okay,
Burhan, just give me 2 minutes. I'm sharing my screen for questions. Just I'm experiencing some trouble.
No, I'm on it. So there are 3 questions of me, 2 from Burhan and other. Okay, so first of all, we have seen a lot of function relating to sum. Is there a similar function relating to subtraction. I'm sorry, we don't have any function, right? Asha Burhan has left. Similarly, there is only one question. Can we delete customize row? Like if I set a criteria row containing ABB in any of the columns to be deleted. Okay, Shakil, they to delete, right, physically. The data is still somewhere in the data source, right, somewhere else in the physical locations. What we can do, we can create a data set. We can create a data set which on which there is no instances of ABB. Yes, we can filter that data there and then. We can develop some sort of an expression. Whenever there is a term ABB comes in, it has to be deleted, right? Or we can in Power BI, we can develop some sort of expressions and then we can do that, right? So yes, we can. So these are the questions so far. And okay, that's it.
Khurram, have you answered Muhammad Suleiman Simab's question?
So, no, I found only three questions.
Okay.
Two
Okay.
from Burhan. Okay.
Okay. There is a question from Suleiman. Can you add not overdue unpaid as well? Then all overdue and not overdue will equal to total unpaid invoices.
It's only an expression or only a simple mathematical thing that you can do. It's very simple. That actually, if it says that the total number, if you look at the total number, 49, 2, 5, how many of these? 7, 7 minus 9, and 9 and 38, which is equal to 49. That is simple calculation, or I'm not understanding the question. Feroz?
You want me to repeat the question?
Yes, that's what I've understood. If that is it's simple calculation, it's say the unpaid plus paid is equal to total invoice count. And similarly, we have the unpaid, right? Uh, These are the total unpaid, right? And out of these 49, we have this distribution. If you total it is equal to 49, if that is the answer to that question. Maybe I've not understood the question. Maybe. What was the question?
Okay, Suleiman.
It is best
The
to
total.
unmute the person who's asked the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suleiman, can you please raise your hand? Suleiman, I have unmuted you.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I was saying that if we add another measure by not overdue, we can calculate that total of overdue and not overdue invoices will be equal to total of unpaid invoices. Right now, total of unpaid invoices is 560, while overdue invoices are total of it is 528. 18 plus 22 plus 29 plus 459 is 528. So if we add another measure, then it will equal to 560.
Yes, we can. We can. It is just a calculation thing, right? So whatever you want to know, you can just use a measure and the answer will be calculated by the Power BI. So that is the thing, that is the usefulness of the measure, that whatever you have in mind, you want to calculate this much. If is equal to this much, it should be this much. If that is the case, it will prove Power BI will calculate it for you. So the answer
Okay, thank
to
you.
this,
Actually, I was making that suggestion only because unpaid invoices, the breakup of unpaid invoices is overdue and not overdue invoices. So it will
overdue
actually
invoice.
also kind of will
No. Okay, just hang on.
and
Just
not
hang on.
overdue invoices.
Just hang on for a minute. Just hang on for a minute. Just wait. Let me elaborate. Not elaborate. Show you something. Show you something more. So let we have another table, right? We have this table. We have invoice number on this, right? We have this invoice number. Let it be a table. Let it be a table. Let's have all the things we have. We have the invoice date. We have the company, right? We have the AR due date, and so right now we are not considering this, and we have the paid status, right? So let's analyze these things, right? Let's analyze these things. Now we have this basic information in front of us. So these are the invoices, right? And these are the invoice date, and to look about these things. For example, we want to have how many uh, let me add one filter to it, which is the company. So I'm taking a company here and taking a filter. So I have AAA. Now we have this AAA. This gives us all the information of all the invoices, right? Or all the invoices of AAA, which is 103. So we have 103 invoices. Now filter it down. We have the paid status. That we have the paid status, and we have making it a filter, and we have so no. So we have now only which are and let me do this. Now we want to put in all these values. So we have how many? 2 to 48, 48 to in this much. Now from this is all the information we have for the company which is F. So you can see, for example, and let me put another day. This is the days overdue. Let me have this thing as well. Days overdue. Now we have don't. This is one of the things you might be considering what I'm doing right now. That is power overdue. I don't want to summarize. So don't summarize. Right now, this year, this value is being summarized. So I don't want to summarize it. So don't summarize it. So this is don't. Now, both days overdue, don't summarize it. Okay. And let it be this. Now look at here, we have this much value. There are 103. That it is not overdue yet, right? It is say we have values which is I have to filter it by this. Now look at here. Do we have a value which is okay, 22? Okay, now look at we have these minus 78, minus 30. It's still we have the due date is far, right? So we need to look at this data. We have the data set. This is the summary. This is the detail. You can data and say that this is 1048 is the invoice number, invoice date is this, company is this, and we have this is these are the invoices, the due date is this much. So you can see that there's still from minus 78 days to get it mature. So we need to look into these days as well. So this is the value of the Power BI report. You can drill down on the information that what sort of data that you are looking at. Uh, yes, you are right. 90 days, it's a lot of uh, mm, uh, invoice which is overdue. But there are many instances in which you can see that there are information. These are 1031. So you need to look at why these are overdue so much. So the due date is 22 and this is the invoice date and the due date is this much. So there has to be certain reason for it is matured but not paid. Why is that? Right. So this is how you can get the low level information from this dashboard. Is that clear now? So the objective of the Power BI report and the dashboard, so you can summarize your data, right? By looking, it gives you the broader picture. But if you still want to look at the data at the row level or at the lowest level, you still can look at the, right? You can filter it down, right? So maybe I can overdue by 90 days, right? So I only want this data, right?
Okay. Sorry, can I
Look at,
clarify something?
yeah, sure.
Actually, if you look at the unpaid invoices, these are 54. By 15 days is 2, and then 45 2, and then over 90 days 48. These overdue invoices total to 52. Where are the other two invoices? That's why I was adding. Just add and it will equal
Okay,
to 54.
okay.
Thank you.
40, you want to say that there are certain 48 plus 2. So this 2, okay,
Two invoices are missing. So
two
we added
invoices are,
another layer should be added here, so it will equal to 54.
okay, yes, 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 yes.
Thank you.
Yes, now I've understood. Okay, that is the tasks for you guys to look at the data, right? It's not my headache. This is the task of for the weekend. So he's correctly triple F. Yes, yes, 54 2 2. Maybe there is something wrong with the Meyer. Let me see first of all one by one. Let me see, calculate greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, it seems okay. Then it seems greater than 16 or less than equal to 45, it seems okay to me as well. And this is seems okay to me as well. This is greater than 90. Apparently it seems fine, but okay, unpaid invoices. Okay, find the solution by yourself. It's somewhere hidden here. I don't know where it may be at the moment, right? But we can look into paid status. Is you said no, we don't have the paid status. So 54 to 48. The answer should be 54, but we have okay.
Actually, two invoices which were showing net or not overdue. These two should be added into it, then it will become 54.
Yeah. I mean, no, I need to look at the data. I'm not that why is the case. It has to be there. If it is 54, right? If 54, then the total of these should be 54.
Just adding another measure of not overdue will solve this issue.
Yes, yes, that may be, and this is the task. This is the measure that you should write, right? So let me do the rest of the thing, the rest of the topics that I have to cover, right? So that is the thing. Now, today what we have so far, we have learned that how we have learned that the date diff calculated column, the function that we have used over here. Then we have created some of the measures and then putting it on the report and just look at the data from by going it. Now we'll be doing the same stuff, right? We are doing this thing, but now we will look at the data from a different angle now. That is one way. That is one way of looking at the data that we have on. We have this data. Now let's see that we want to compare. We want to compare the last year data with the previous year data. So we have actually 3 years data starting from 2020, I guess. Let me see. We have this data, the date. We have, okay, starting from sort sending. Okay, January 21. Starting from January 21 till to date, we have this data. So we have 2020, we have 2021, and we have 2022 data. 2022 data is sort descending. So Thursday 6th. So today is 6th. So this is the time frame of the data set we have here. So we want to compare our number of invoices from last year to last year. So comparison, let's create a measure that will help us in identifying that a comparison or compare the number of paid invoices, unpaid invoices last year to the previous year. We can have a comparison of the wide year-to-date comparison, but since the days are very low, we have almost 4 or 5 days. 4 or 5 days we have, so I think we should not develop this measure, but rather we will have a measure, a dynamic measure by which we can always calculate the last year amounts, last year paid amount, paid invoices or unpaid invoices, and see the comparison. So I'm writing a calculated measure. I am writing a measure that will determine the count of measures last year, that is 2021, and the year for 2020, right? So that's our objective. Let's see that. I'm doing it for one, right? So new measure. This is a measure I'm writing, and I am calculating. What? Okay. Last year last year invoice count. Invoice count. Okay, let me now what it means. We have let me do this first. Let me so we have no filter whatsoever. Okay. So we have 1057 invoices we have right at the moment. But what we want to have, we want to know that how many of these are previous years, right? Of 21 and how many are 2020? Yes. So for this, we have the invoice last year invoice count. Now again calculate. So this is the calculate function. Calculate 145, right? So out of these, how many are from 2021? So I'm using this measure as an expression, right? Because I've already calculated this stuff. Invoice count. This is the invoice count, right? And I want to know that how many among these invoices are from 2021, which is the last date, right? So we have the AR due date. AR due date I can get here. This is the function I am trying to use to extract the AR from AR due date, which is AR due date. This is AR data, AR due date, right? And I'm comparing this AR. So AR function will extract the AR this date, right? Which is this one. And I want to equate it with the year of today. Today will give me the date, right? And it will generate a year which is 2022. I want 2021, which is -1. If I subtract it from this, this will give me the year which is 2021. This function will give me the year of current year, which is 2022. But what I want a year which is the previous year, which is 2021. So 2022 minus 1 will give me 2021, and I want to equate this value for the date for this year, right? If it is 2021, then calculate the total count of invoices from this. So let's see how many do we have for we to resolve today. Okay, today actually this is the function. This is the function. So we have yes. So out of these, how many are from last year? So last year is this much. Visualization and so last year is 79. We have last year was 70, 79 maybe. Uh, do we? I'm writing it correctly. I want to calculate where air is equal to this much and air is equal to 2a minus 1. So I don't want to have this. Seems fine to me. Okay, fine. So if you want to calculate the last year data. How we can do that using the same. I want to have the last year, right? And we have so in this case 2. So 2022 minus 2 is 2020. So if the value of this is equal to, this will be the last year, and we have this thing, and let's see how many of these are. This is strange. This should not be 70. Last. Uh, Harun or Farooq, are you able to listen to me? I don't know. There's something wrong with it. Got stuck. Harun or Firoz, are you there?
Yes, Khurram. I think my connection was distorted. Can you repeat?
Okay. Actually, what happened was I was stuck as well. I
Okay.
was stuck as well. So it apparently it seems that there is a confusion somewhere, and uh, look like there is an issue. I don't know. So actually, I'm doing it from the beginning. And first of all, let me have another blank, and I want to uh, rather doing this in a different way, right? Not getting writing the Maya at present, but will be counting the invoices in a different way. In order to do so, I can have another table. Yesterday, that was the part where I was stuck, right? So what I'm doing now, I'm creating another calculated table based on AR data. And with the help of this date table, we can look at the count of different types. So let me have a table. We have the table here, and we want to have from the we have new table, and in the new table we are creating. Uh, okay, we have the AR date table. AR date table. TV. So we are creating AR date from the data set we have. So calendar, yesterday we have used this function, the text function calendar, in order to create the date table, with the help of which we can analyze the data time-wise, right? So we have the min function. We want to have the due date. We want to create a date from AR data, AR amount due date, comma, and the main function, the max function will result in the latest date, min function will return the earliest date, max return the latest date. We have the A, not AR amount due, this is due date. Due, this is AR due. Now we have the AR due date. So next function will return the latest date, and we have this, and okay, we have min. This is completed, and let it be. There is some issue. Okay, let me see. If it is an issue, it will give me an error. So let's see whether it gives me an error or it will continue. Okay, so two few expressions. So we want to do it that way. Alt and minimum. So we want to have the calendar minimum AR due date. Now this is closed, comma, this is the start date, the end max, right? And then we have the AR due date. This will return me the max date. This should be the case. Now it's okay. So we have the date extracted from this, right? And we have a new column, select new column, and in the new column we just extract the year from this date, which is AR date, DB date, which is this one, and I have to use year, and this is the year, and click OK. So I have the year, and let's see, have the number of counts. We have the year from this. This is the year, right? This is the year, and I want to have this table. So this is the table. I don't want to, and I have a year. I don't want to summarize. So don't. If I don't want to summarize, then I have 20, 21, 22. So I want to have the number of invoices, which is invoice count. Now you can see how many do we have. We have 105. Okay, 105. There is a. Now the problem is the relationship. We have to establish a relationship between these two. Like this one, we have this field. We have AR date, and it has to be with what this one days AR. So I have created one-to-many relationship. One-to-many relationship means that in this table, the date occur only once, but in this table, the date may occur more than once. So this is one-to-many. We have created the relationship. Now we have the correct data with us. So we have, this is what we have. So this is the 79 value, which in year 2020 we have 446 invoices, 220, 532 in 221, and then 79 so far in 2022. So this is another way of looking at the data. Then we can have the paid invoices. In 2021, how many paid invoices do we have? In 2020, we have one. 2021, we have 260. So there is a drastic change here, but so is the number of invoices here. How many unpaid invoices? This is how many unpaid invoices, right? So this is again another type of summary we have, and we need to look the data from the different perspective. The Power BI will empower you to look at the data from various perspectives. So you see we have the data here, right? We have the data in the table. We transform this data into this form, right? We now, the data is now speaking something, that this is the company, this is the number of paid, this is the unpaid and stuff. So we have organized, we have created a Meyer in order to transform your data into. Now this is an information, right? Maybe right, maybe wrong. That is another story. If there something wrong, so it has to be within the Meyers, right? The way it is not used properly, maybe greater than or less than or equal to. We have used some sort of a logic, but to err is human. The error is with us. We need to look at the errors and we need to rectify the errors, right? So, but this is one way of putting the data, right? We can have the summarized data, we can have the detailed data, right? Then we can have the same data, but in this form. We have this much, and maybe I want to have the same data here. For example, I want to let me check whether I be able to do one stuff, and copy, and I want to paste. Let me can I paste this here? Okay, yes, I can paste this. So the information are the same, right? I can copy paste the table as well, which I actually did, right? And if I click 2020, just look at, I have 2020. So this is 2020. The data is filtered with respect to 2020 in here. So now you can see this information, which is a bit strange, that in the year 2020, these are the companies that we have worked with, and we have 2022 invoices which are unpaid since 2020, right? Similarly, if you, there is some sort of information do we have, right? So these are looking at the data from this angle to that angle, right? So that's it for the day. But one thing which is left today, and we should have done this. Okay, let me do it for you. A bit of formatting to the tables. So maybe, for example, I want to format this table, right? I want to do some sort of makeup with this data. The value in these tables are small. The font is different. I need to color this thing. So let's do this data some sort of formatting with this. In order to format the table like this, what you should go to the visualization pane, and then you have the click the format that is the in between, right? Format. Now these are some of the options that you may have. For example, look at the column headers. So these are the column headers. If I select this, it will give me some sort of a. So it gives me what options. It gives me font color. So maybe I want font to be this one, right? So look at this. This is my font color. I want a black, so this is the black. And it give me, and text size will be maybe I want 12, maybe 40, right, depending on. So this is only for stuff like this. I want to say in values, these are the values, the font color, I want it to be dark green, right, values, and I want that to be stuff like this, right? So you see, you can do a bit of formatting stuff here. So increase the font size. This is how you can increase the font size. Now look, this is more readable for some of the people, right? And this is 14. You can do values, and we have the total. For example, total, I don't want to have the total here, so I can this total, I can turn it off. So these are few of the tips as far as the formatting is concerned. We'll look into some of the more details of format in next two sessions, right? So let me summarize what we did today, right? We have taken one, we have bringing in one file, Excel file into the Power, and in doing so, we have used Power Query feature. We saw the problem with the data source, the file that we bring in. We correct the issue, the problem, the file that we have, and then we close and load it so that the data is loaded correctly. Once we have the data set, then we develop certain measures, right? We have used the count function, and then we discussed the most important DEX function, which is calculated. So in next two session, we will be using this measure, this DEX function many times, right? We still have to, in next, we will be learning few certain time series functions, such as same period last year, previous year, right? So there are many other time series function which are needed to, and all those functions will make use of calculated DEX function. So remember, we will be using calculated function with other time series functions. So these are the important functions, and we have to learn those. So we have learned how to use a calculated function. Then we will see that how we can use it for more than one calculations in uh, calculating the range of values. For example, the number of days. The first condition is it is greater than or equal to 1. The second calculation is it is less than or equal to 15, and stuff like this, right? So this is how calculated function is used. Then we have learned another important function for operation like this. Whenever the date and we have to manipulate the date, we have to make use of date in the calculation, or where we have to calculate the difference of date. So date diff function is an excellent function, DEX function. We have applied this function in order to calculate the number of days between 2 days. So with the help of date diff function, calculate the difference in terms of months, in terms of year, in terms of week, and even in terms of seconds, right? So that is a good function. And after that, we have putting this all these measures into a table. This is the table. Then we have bringing in certain slicer. We use those slicers, and we have seen that we can look at the data from a particular company. So, for example, this is AAA, and this is all the information of one company. And if you want to see the application of the second mm, uh, filter, the data is again drilled down to the lowest level, right? So this is what we and again we have revised two concepts. One is how to derive or develop a table and then establish a relationship between two tables, right? And then make use of these two tables in the canvas in order to represent this. And in the end, we did some sort of formatting stuff of formatting a table, right? By changing the font size, the font type of values, the column head, and stuff like this. So that's what we have done today. In the next session, uh, we will be doing some more thing on Power Query, uh, new feature, not the new feature, but the utility features such as combining two or more files into one file, right? Bringing data of multiple files of a similar structure to one file, right? And stuff like this, and putting into the Power BI and then using it for further analysis. Then we will be also using certain time frame, just as M2D, MTD function, YTD function, that are the built-in functions. So today what we try to do to develop the customized function using the calculate function. So there are certain time series built-in Power BI functions, which are MTD, YTD, QTD, same period last year, dates between, periods between. These are some of the functions we will be, which are time series function in the next session. So that will be the agenda for the next session, which will be on Monday next week. So that's from my side for today. If you have any question, right? If you have any, you can ask right now. So we have, yes, any question.
Okay, Khurram, there are some questions, but first I'm going to repeat the announcement that we have decided to switch back to alternative days, and today's session would be the last moderated session of this week. Your unmoderated sessions will take place at the times they were previously held. The next moderated session will be on Monday, and the next one on Wednesday. We have two more sessions for Power BI, and we'll hope that we'll cover the rest of the course in these two sessions. Furthermore, the recordings are not readily available as soon as the session ends because it takes some time for GoToWebinar to process the videos in order to be accessible. So as soon as these videos are accessible to us, we update the recording links. We have also uploaded the important links file in the handouts. You can download that file. It has all the recordings of the sessions that were previously held, and these are updated on the Google Drive on daily basis. Okay, so coming to the questions, Muhammad Ans Khan, I want to unmute you You have multiple questions, and I would like you to ask these questions directly to Khurram. Just raise your hand so I can unmute you. Okay, Ans, I have unmuted you. You're in self-mute. Please unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Yes, Ans.
Khurram, the first question I would like to ask is, if let's say we have created a dashboard and we want to update, the Excel file. So will the Excel file in this dashboard will be automated? I mean that will it be linked to each other? And the second question I would like to ask if there is
Okay,
some sort of error.
answer, wait, one by one, right? So the first
Okay.
question is, okay, the first question is, that you have said that if the Excel file is updated, right, do we have the reflection of that modification or updation in the on the dashboard? That was your question.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, that's
okay,
my question.
okay. If you look at here, we have this button refresh, right? Refresh. Actually, we did is we have created a connection with the data source, which is Excel. That file is saved somewhere, right? We have the connection, we have the connector in the Power BI. That connector connected the Excel file with the Power BI, and whenever data is updated in the Excel, and we have refreshed this button, once we do that, all the data that was updated within the Excel file will be reflected on the dashboard, right? So that is one strategy which we call a uh, uh, oppression. But there is another way, but it is in the Power BI service where we can set the automatic refresh. So there we can set the time and the limits and maybe 1 hour hourly, 2 hours, 24 hours and stuff like this. So I hope that answers your first question. What is your second question?
Yes, thank you, that answer. The second question I would like to ask is, let's say if we have some, some mistakes in the data in the Excel file. So will the Power BI will recognize those errors? You talk about, the function, the relation errors or something like that, and what you have done today in the start of the, creating a Power Query. Other than that, if we have some sort of major errors, let's say the date is written like 30th February instead of 28 or something like that. So will the Power BI will be able to recognize those errors?
Okay, the okay. Let me understand your question first, right? You are saying that do Power BI has uh, the functionality or the capabilities to recognize the within the data? That is your question?
Yeah, that's my question.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Partly yes, right? Partly yes. For example, uh, you may see that there are different types of data. There is a data numeric, there are data which are text, right? At times, we see that the text data, we think of it, it is a number, but apparently is a text data, and we want to make use of that data in some sort of mathematical calculation. Yes, in that context, the Power BI will realize that there is an error with the data. We cannot make use of a text data in mathematical calculation. Say we cannot multiply text data with the numeric data. This will give an error. So Power BI has that capability, right? Does not have
Okay.
that capability, right? That that maybe the number of days in February is 20, maybe 30. So that data, that error is in the data source, right? We can rectify, we can we can identify those errors with the help of logical functions or different DAX functions. So maybe we may check one of the function, for example, does this fall, maybe Saturday is a weekend day, and Saturday, there is no working day on Saturday, but we do have a data on, we may have a data. So, okay, the rule says there is no transaction on Saturday, right? But we may find a transaction on the data source which is on. We can build a rule in the Power BI to verify that whether this transaction is done on it. If that is the case, it highlight that transaction and says the rule is this, but we have this, so there is something wrong somewhere, you need to look into. So we Power BI, with the help of Power BI, we can, as a developer, as the programmer, as the user, to use DAX function to identify those errors, right? So there are two ways. Yes, Power BI can recognize which is data dependent, the data types and stuff like this. But the more contextual error, it has to be um, uh, uh, rule based. It has to be developed rule based. We have to develop a measure based on those rules in order to identify those errors. I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Thank you so much, Khurram. I got it. Thank you so much.
Okay, Feroz, the last question
From,
of the day. There is any?
yes,
Yeah.
I need to include something. Some of the participants are facing trouble understanding the expressions and applying those. As I recall, you suggested W3 schools for the SQL language. I believe you are using SQL, a sort of SQL for these Power BI sessions. Is that correct?
No, there is no SQL involved here in Power
Okay.
BI.
So,
Well,
do you have any suggestion for the participants so they can have some grip on the expressions? How can they learn or get their hands going on with the expressions?
okay, if mm, YouTube is full of these, you can go to the YouTube and there is no, I don't recall any website as far as the Power BI expressions are concerned. There is one that is W3 School, but it's not for the Power BI. It is only for the HTML and this stuff.
Okay.
Um, okay,
So I have a
uh,
suggestion. What
Feroz,
you're gonna do, you're gonna
uh,
email this file that you're working on. You're gonna save it as it is. And you just email me this file. I'll upload this in the drive as well. So when the participants are practicing, they can look up to the correct expressions and understand the context while watching the recordings.
okay, okay. So as it is, I will be um, saving it and emailing it to you. Okay, I will do
Okay,
that.
that's perfect. That's perfect. And I think let's just call it a day. We are 18
Let
minutes past 8.
okay. Let me.
Uh,
Yeah, okay, fine. Go ahead. I'm saving this file.
yes,
ACCA.
you can email this file to me, and I'll upload it when I'll be updating the recording links for the participants. And I think that is it. What I need to suggest all of you is to practice these functions and these expressions, and you can discuss these in the unmoderated session that will place on either Friday or Saturday, depending upon which group you belong to. So I think let's call it a day, and hope you guys are having fun, and see you guys on Monday.
Okay, bye bye.
Okay, Khurram.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.